Hi everybody, so quick thing, real quick. So I filmed this video and it is over like an hour long and I don't want to put you guys through that, so I broke it up into, I think it's gonna be 3 different parts. So this is the first one, and it's phase 2. Also, quick thing, I'm going through each phase and it is going to lead up to the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which comes out May 6th. We're all so excited for it. And so this is part 1 of phase 2. I'm so sorry, but here it is. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel where we like to talk about books, movies, TV shows, and everything in between. Now, last week's episode, we talked about MCU Phase 1 and a little recap of what's going on there. Yeah, let's continue that and do Phase 2. Okay? So what can we expect from Phase 2? What movies are we expecting? We're going to be going through Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Age of Ultron, and Ant-Man. All fantastic movies. Now let's get started. So, first movie is Iron Man 3. Now, what's going on in Iron Man 3? Well, it takes place after the events of the Avengers, and Tony is going through some serious PTSD from the Battle of New York, and it's just affecting his sleep. It's affecting his relationship with Pepper. He is making so many Iron Man bots and suits. It's just crazy. At the same time, there's also a terrorist organization called the Ten Rings blowing up places. One of the places they blew up is Tony's California house. Thankfully he's not in there, or no one's in there. One thing leads to another. Tony finds himself in the middle of America, Tennessee I think, and he is just he's wondering what his place is and everything. Iron Man is just, it's so much, and he's like, how is Tony Stark and Iron Man going to be cohesive together? What does that mean for him? Because Pepper wants, they want to continue the relationship, and, where does he fit in all this? Well, because we have Tony's huge character arc that's happened since the first one, we do see a flashback at the beginning where Tony is approached at a New Year's party in 1999, and one of the characters is Aldrich Killian, who is disabled at this time. But in the future, in the present day of where we see him, he's not, because there's this thing called regenerative technology, and he takes it and it gets healed. He gets healed, and unfortunately, it's not stable. So he wants Tony Stark's help in creating the stability of it all, because Tony is super smart. He's one of the best scientists in the game, in the Marvel Universe, really, at this time. What is Tony do? He doesn't want to help out. He doesn't want to do stuff like that. But unfortunately, that is no longer a choice, because Aldrich Killian kidnaps Pepper. Totally out of pocket, dude. We don't like that. So Killian has Pepper, injects her with the regenerative technology, and Tony has no choice but to save her, and Killian dies, and he stabilizes Pepper, which is great, and he also gets a shrapnel out of his chest, and so he's all healed. He's great. He's good. As good as new. There's so many things happening in this film. Can't blame you if you're a little confused. But things we do have to remember. We have to remember the Ten Rings. We did remember it from Iron Man 1, of course. You remembered. But they come up again because that's not actually the Ten Rings. That whole thing is just a big ball of wax that we will melt down in the movie, where it concentrates more on the Ten Rings. Aldrich is not the leader, and neither is the Mandarin, who's an actor named Trevor, we see in the film. Great performance by Ben Kingsley, by the way. Cannot speak his name, but he's a great role he did. He really outdid himself. There's just a lot of smoke and mirrors in this movie, but the gist of it is Tony is finding his place. He's putting Iron Man on the back burner. He's finally realized he needs to take care of himself. And that's one of the things he realizes in the middle of his little psychosis journey, his walkabout. It's a new stage for him. It's the end of his trilogy. He needs to figure out what the future is. But his future is with Pepper. Loves Pepper. We love pepperoni. That's their ship name. Pepper Potts and Tony. That's about it. And regenerative technology doesn't really... We do see a little sneak peek later on, but I'll point to it whenever we get to that movie. It won't be until Phase 4, but I will point it out when we see it. Alright, let's go to the next film. Thor: The Dark World. Now, this is the second one in the Thor saga. There's going to be a fourth film coming out this summer, so it's not a trilogy anymore. But it's the second film. Very, very good. A lot of people don't like it. It's not people's taste, but I personally like it because I love the little fantastical elements, the dark elves, the 9 realms, just a lot of fun stuff. But basically in this one, it's been 2 years since Thor's seen Jane, and she's been on Earth just moping about. She really loves Thor, and just not seeing him for years, and also being in New York and then him not visiting her. Kind of a bad move, if you ask me, Thor. But during that time, since the Battle of New York to the events of now, he has been cleaning up the 9 realms, because it's just been descending into chaos. And Odin doesn't want that, and I get it. It's not a good look as Odin being king and everything like that. So Odin's like, go Thor, go clean this up, I'll deal with your brother. Loki's in the dungeons of Asgard, and Odin does say the only reason why he's alive is for his mom. His mom loves him. Yeah, it's unfortunate for her because she does die 20-30 minutes into the film, and Loki feels like he's responsible for that because he did lead the Dark Elves towards her, like not intentionally towards her, but towards her direction. But what's happening on Earth is Jane, she gets a visit from Darcy, her intern, and she's like, hey, there's a lot of anomalies going on in this certain area, we need to go visit it. And they see it, and she's like, whoa, this is crazy, what's going on? Jane gets sucked into like another realm, and the ether, which we kind of see a little bit of in the flashback in the beginning with the Dark Elves and them trying to take over the 9 realms and put it into darkness. Well, the ether is their catalyst to do that, and it gets injected into Jane. The ether goes into her, and she has all this energy that's super just crazy. Basically, it's an energy that survived the destruction of the last universe. There's a whole repetitive cycle with the MCU. It's a long story, but basically there was a universe before the one that they're in, and it kind of crashed and burned and the Big Bang happened. Well, that's an element that survived that, and so it's very powerful. So Jane has that in her. Thor is like, don't know where she's at, because Heimdall's like, I can't see her, and Heimdall sees everything. So Thor goes down there, she's there, she comes back to Earth, and he sees that, whoa, she has all this energy, like, not earthly stuff. This is like outside of Earth's expertise. And so Thor takes her to Asgard, and Odin sees his power too, and they're like, this is crazy, we need to figure out how to get out of her before she dies, because the energy's going to consume her. But wait a minute, the Dark Elves that Odin thought his dad had killed all of them like thousands of years ago, yeah, no, they survived. Not all of them, but a small band of them with their leader, Malekith. And Malekith can sense the ether, and he knows exactly where it is. And that's when the Dark Elf is in the dungeon, and Loki's like, go that way, and that Dark Elf kills his mom. Yeah, that whole thing happens. Odin's depressed because his wife is gone, and Thor comes up with a plan. He's like, hey, we should just take Jane to the Dark Elves, get them to take the ether out, then take the ether, and then kill the Dark Elves. He's like, that's a great plan, but Odin doesn't want to do that, and it'll be treason if you do that. So he's like, we need to figure out a way. Loki knows the way, knows the secret little passages to get in and out of the realms, and so they break Loki out of jail. He takes them to the Dark Elf realms, Svartalfheim. Not saying that correctly, I know that. This is not my native tongue, so I apologize. So anyways, they go there, they meet with the Dark Elves. There's this huge plan that Loki plans, and they get the ether out. But they kill Loki. and they take the ether. Well, they get sent to Earth because the realms start to line up a little bit, so they get sent to Earth through a hole, and so do Thor and Jane. And Thor, defeats them, gets the ether, and makes sure it's secure, because he later on gives it to Sif, and one of the Warriors 3, and they give it to the Collector. Now, the Collector is an interesting man, and we will see more of him in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 movies ahead. Yeah, he's just like, his name is the Collector. He literally collects things from all over the galaxy, universe, whatever. So that's his job. And they make a comment that they can't have 2 Infinity Stones beside each other. So the ether is an Infinity Stone, which is pretty powerful. The Infinity Stones were, like I said, products, like energy products, that moved from the last universe, survived the Big Bang, and now are in this universe. It's a long story. There's a lot more to the comic books, and I can break that down later on. But we will keep going. So, remember how I said that Loki died? Yeah, he didn't die. He took Odin's place and now is impersonating Odin in Asgard. Where's Odin? We don't know. So, but we will figure that out later in phase 3. In phase 3. So, there we go. That's Thor to the Dark World. What we need to know is our main characters, Thor, Loki, Jane, remember her name. She will come back later. Darcy is pretty important. We'll remember her for later on. The Infinity Stones. We have the Ether, and we have the Tesseract already. So, remember those guys. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, give it a like. If you can't wait for the next one and you want to know when it's coming out, make sure you subscribe. And I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.